All right, we should be streaming, we should be live, we should be good to go. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? We are starting a few minutes early so that we can give people some time to come into the stream. Hopefully we'll get all the regulars coming in. Just found out about this news this morning, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is true. It is absolutely true. Final Fantasy 15 Season 2 DLC, it is not happening. It is canceled. It is gone. It is done. Final Fantasy 15 Season 2 DLC is not happening. It is gone. And along with the Season 2 DLC, Hajime Tabata is also gone from Square Enix, the company. So, major news that we need to talk about. We need to talk about this news. So, first of all, let me go ahead and make sure the stream is actually live and I'm not just talking to myself. All right, yes, looks like the stream is live. Let me go ahead and test how it sounds before we actually get started. I need to switch my headphones real quick. Give me just a second, guys. All right, so let me test the stream real quick, make sure the audio sounds good, everything sounds fine. All right, everything sounds good. All right, so let me go ahead and pull up the chat and see if we got anybody in here yet. Rai Sora, how you doing? Rai Sora says, I knew something like this would happen. I knew Tabata would leave. Yes. I had a feeling something like this was going to go down. I had a feeling something like this was going to go down for sure. Lo and behold, it has. Tabata is gone. The DLC has been canceled. And Final Fantasy 15 is never going to correct the wrongs that were created back when the game first launched. So, yes. This is... On the surface, this is bad news. Obviously, on the surface, what the hell's a surface? On the surface, this is bad news. Clearly, this is bad news on the surface. Even if you don't like Final Fantasy 15, and trust me, I don't like Final Fantasy 15. Any of you cats that were on the old channel, you know I don't like Final Fantasy 15. So, but even if you don't like Final Fantasy 15, it's still bad news because... well, it's bad news for Square Enix overall as a company, and, yo, Sora Simple and Clean says, I'm here for the extended rant of Final Fantasy 15. Yes, there may not be a Season 2 of DLC for Final Fantasy 15, but consider this the beginning of Season 2 for the Final Fantasy 15 rants, okay? But it is bad news. It is bad news. Even if you don't like Final Fantasy 15, it's still bad news for the company, for Tabata, etc., etc. And let's see, what time is it? It is 10:31, and we got 6 people in here, so let's go ahead and start talking about this. Okay, so you all saw the title of the video. You all obviously know by now what has happened. Huge news coming out of Square Enix last night. Final Fantasy 15 Season 2 DLC has been canceled. It is gone, and along with it, the director of Final Fantasy 15, Hajime Tabata, is also gone. He has left Square Enix. He has resigned from his post at Square Enix. And on top of that, Square Enix has come out and they have posted that they have lost $33 million. That's a huge chunk of money, guys. $33 million. So we have a lot to talk about. We have, oh my God, bro. Like this, the implications of this are huge, and I don't think a lot of people have realized it yet. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So here we have a GameSpot article talking about the news, talking about what has happened. So we're going to read that and then we'll talk about it some more. So on GameSpot, it says, in an unexpected announcement today, Square Enix announced the cancellation of 3 of the 4 planned Final Fantasy 15 episode expansion packs, and also confirmed that game director Hajime Tabata has left the company. Tabata's last day at Square Enix was October 31st. The canceled Final Fantasy DLC episodes include Aranea, Lunafreya, and Noctis. The 4th one, Arden, remains in development and is scheduled to launch in March 2019. We will talk more about episode Arden in just a little bit, but let's get through this article first. Alright, so the article continues. The expansion packs were being developed by Luminous, the new Square Enix internal studio. However, that team, and this is important guys, that team, the Luminous team, will now focus on making a new AAA game, though it hasn't been announced yet. Could it be Final Fantasy 16? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. In an earnings report, Square Enix announced a major change to Luminous that resulted in an extraordinary loss amounting to $33 million. Until now, it wasn't known what that loss was related to, but now it looks like it's connected to the DLC cancellation. So in other words, because they're not putting out this DLC, they're going to lose $33 million. That really sucks for Square Enix as a whole. Again, even if you don't care about Final Fantasy 15, it sucks for them as a whole. But moving on. In announcing his resignation, Tabata said, "I honestly believe that the reason we were able to get this far is because of all of you loyal fans. I thank you from the bottom of my heart." AKA, thank you for giving me your money. Thank you for being duped into buying the DLC. Thank you so much for letting us take your money for a very mediocre to bad game. That's what he's saying, okay? As for what he'll do next, Tabata said that he is starting his own company. Okay? Tabata said, "I have a project that I truly wish to solidify as my next challenge after Final Fantasy 15. For that reason, I have decided to leave my current position and start my own business in order to achieve my goal. From this day on, I will cheer on and support Square Enix and Luminous Productions together with all of you fans. I would like to thank everyone who continues to support Final Fantasy 15 and those who have also supported myself personally." I think that's the end of Tabata's quotes right there. But anyways, continuing on with the article. Also during the announcement event, Square Enix announced that Final Fantasy 15's Comrades multiplayer will now be released as a standalone game, meaning you don't need the base game to play it. There will be a further 10 new bosses as well as more costumes and weapons in the standalone game. Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer Comrades, as it's called, will launch on December 13th. I'm assuming that's 2018, not 2019. Those who already bought the Comrades expansion will get the new standalone edition for free. Also during the presentation, Square Enix announced a new cross-promotion with Final Fantasy XIV Online. An event called Adventurer from Another World will be available inside Final Fantasy XV on PS4, Xbox One, and PC starting on December 12th. Another announced... That's worded a little bit weird. Another announcement as a short film... Wow, okay. They really screwed up this last paragraph. Okay. Basically, there was another announcement. There was a short form anime called Final Fantasy 15 Episode Prologue is also on the way, and a teaser will be released on December 15th with a second one coming on January 10th. Okay, so, guys, this is huge news, and there's good to this news, and there's bad to this news, and we're going to talk about it. But first of all, I forgot to get some water. Oh no, I need to go get some water from the kitchen real quick. Sora Simple and Clean says, "Can we get a rant on how terrible the multiplayer is?" Yes, bro, the multiplayer is terrible in Final Fantasy 15. Absolute piss poor garbage. Oh my god, bro. It is so tacked on. It's so tacked on, and it's boring. I find the multiplayer in Final Fantasy 15 to be boring. It looks boring. It looks boring. So terrible multiplayer. Terrible multiplayer. And then they want to come out and release it as a standalone game like Square Enix. Are you kidding me right now? But we're going to talk about all of this and more as soon as I go get some water, because I know my throat's going to get dry because I'm about to go on a full-on rant, okay? I'm about to go full-on rant mode. I'll be back in just a second, you guys. Let me go get some water. Be right back. Okay, we back. We back. 2 bottles of water. I'm gonna need it. I'm about to go full on rant mode, bro. Oh my god, this is this is sad and this is funny all at the same time. All right, so Sora Simple and Clean says, quick before he comes back, everyone riot. You were just trying to start something, aren't you, Sora Simple and Clean? You agent of chaos. How dare you? Rai Sora, do you think Square Enix losing money will affect the development of Kingdom Hearts 3? No, not really. Kingdom Hearts 3 is already so far into development and it's coming out so soon. I don't see Kingdom Hearts 3 being affected by any of this, to be honest with you. I don't. Now, Final Fantasy VII Remake, potentially. I could see it potentially affecting the Final Fantasy VII Remake. But Kingdom Hearts 3 is already so far in development. I mean, it's pretty much done. And the game's coming out in January, so no, I don't see this affecting Kingdom Hearts 3, but it could affect the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it definitely could affect games going forward into the next generation, like Final Fantasy 16, for example. All right, so Meyer. Oh, Meyer, this is the first time I've seen you in this stream. How are you, Meyer? Yes, it is funny, Meyer. This whole situation is funny. Sora Simple and Clean says, I'm actually happy that they stopped beating this dead horse, aka Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, and I think that's a good starting point for the discussion. Final Fantasy 15 was a game that was so riddled with problems during its development, and the game was announced as Versus 13 originally, like back in, I think it was 2005 if I'm not mistaken. So this game had like an 11-year development cycle. May have been 2006 this game got announced, I don't remember, but it had an 11-year development cycle. And then of course Nomura dropped off as director, Tabata came in to replace him, and you know, renamed the game to Final Fantasy 15 instead of Versus 13. A lot of the original story ideas and concepts were dropped. The whole invasion of Insomnia became a movie. Kingsglaive, you had this anime that went along with it. Some of the content and the story was cut out to become DLC. And now we're not even getting pretty much half of that DLC because Season 2's been canceled. Yeah, Final Fantasy 15 has just been a game that its whole history, everything surrounding it, has been so chaotic. And they just keep trying to pump new life in it, and it's just time to let it die. Let it die, and let's move on. Jeez. Mayer says, doing fine. At work currently, but shh. No, bro, I'm sorry, Mayer. I can't, okay? This is a rant. I'm gonna get loud in this one. I am. I can't help it. Cause Final Fantasy 15 gets me going, bro. Like it drives me crazy, this game. Oh my god. But yes, Final Fantasy 15, they should just let it die. All right, enough is enough. Let's move on. Let's get out of here. Critical Drive 7 says, hey, how you doing, Critical Drive 7? I hope you all enjoy the rant. Got 8 people in here right now. So yes, Final Fantasy 15 needs to die. It needs to die. It needs to go away. We're done. It's finished. It's time to move on. It's seriously time to move on. We got Kingdom Hearts 3 coming up. We got Final Fantasy 7 Remake coming up. We got Final Fantasy 16 coming up. We need to focus on these future projects. It's time to let Final Fantasy 15 die. I know, even though hardcore fans like myself, veteran fans of the series like myself, hate this game, I know that commercially, financially, and critically, it was a success. It was. I hate to admit that, but it was. It definitely was. Critics liked it, and it was financially successful. That's obvious. But again, the critics, I don't really take their opinion too seriously, because these are people who, for the most part, they are Westerners. They want, you know, they want every single game to be a Western style game. They don't really understand the style, the flair, the storytelling. They don't understand the essence of Japanese gaming, of JRPGs. So the fact that Final Fantasy 15 was more westernized, they don't care about the story. They just care about the fact that it was a more westernized Final Fantasy. That's the reason it got such a positive critical response. That's the only reason. It's the same thing like with superhero movies and the Academy Awards. The Academy Awards does not recognize superhero movies. And it's not because they're not good movies. They are good movies. It's just because the Academy is out of touch. The Academy is out of touch with the vast majority of the movie-going audience. And they're out of touch. They're out of touch. So I view video game critics, especially like IGN and places like that, I view them, when it comes to RPGs, I view their opinion in a very similar manner to the Academy Awards and their opinion on superhero movies. So that is my response to the critical reception of this game. The financial reception of this game, I mean, heck, I bought the game day one. I know a lot of people bought the game day one because we thought we were getting a certain type of game, and then we actually played the game, finished the game, and it wasn't what we were expecting at all. It was not a Final Fantasy game. It was this, I don't even know what to call it, but it wasn't Final Fantasy, all right? Final Fantasy 15 did not feel like a Final Fantasy game. So yes, a lot of people bought it, but they bought it based on a lie. That financial, you know, that huge financial success of Final Fantasy 15, it was a success, but it was a success based on a lie, based on false trailers. It gave us false expectations and false information. So again, I don't know if you can call the financial success of Final Fantasy 15 legitimate, but regardless, let's look at the chat because I see I'm getting a lot of comments. Mayer says, well, I'm not a fan of Final Fantasy 15. I won't blame either Nomura or Tabata. The obsession with the crystal tools / Luminous caused too many problems. Absolutely, bro. Listen, Luminous engine and the just anytime that Square Enix tries to do these internal engines, these engines that they build from the ground up to develop their games, it never works, bro. It doesn't work. I don't know why they're so stubborn. Again, they tried to use, like, they were using a specific engine for Kingdom Hearts 3. They used a specific engine for Final Fantasy 15 that they built in-house, an internal engine, and they had to get rid of both of them. And finally, they just gave up and decided to move Kingdom Hearts 3's development over to the Unreal Engine 4, which is like the standard engine for game development right now, is the Unreal Engine 4. And they finally just gave up and they moved Kingdom Hearts 3's development to the Unreal Engine 4. And thank God they did, because if they didn't, Kingdom Hearts 3 would probably be in development hell right now. It probably would be another 10 years before we see Kingdom Hearts 3 if they had stuck to an internal engine. So Square Enix needs to stop. Square Enix needs to stop with the internal engines. Forget about it. Who cares? Who cares about these internal engines? Forget about it. Square Enix needs to stop. They need to stop, all right? No more internal engines. No more being stubborn. No more weird, wonky development quirks that Square Enix has had in the past. Enough of that. Just develop games like everybody else. Use Unreal Engine 4. Whatever the next standardized game development tool is, or game development engine is, when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox. Just use that. Don't go back to an internal engine. Stop being stubborn. Stop doing these weird, quirky things with your game development. Just standardize it. Seriously. Not that difficult to do. Every other company does it. Square Enix needs to do it. It pisses me off. Ryrysaurus says, and don't forget about the Avengers game. Bro, who knows if we're ever going to hear about that Avengers game? Seriously, like, where the hell is this Avengers game? Seriously, we've not heard anything about it, not seen anything about it. Who knows what's going to happen with that? Red Bandit says, Nomura said he wanted to reveal the backstories for each of the organization members. Do you think they might do something like that, like this for that, or do you think they might scrap that as well? You mean Final Fantasy 15? Bro, I think after episode Arden, I mean, they did mention like a couple of anime shorts or whatever, but no, I at this point, I'll just be honest with you. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. I really don't. Oh, no, wait. I misread your question. Wait a minute. I misread your question. you're saying, do you think Nomura, okay, now I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying. All right, so you're saying, Red Bandit, do I think that Tetsuya Nomura is going to reveal the backstories of each of the organization members via DLC episodes? Like, give each organization member their own DLC episode? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And the reason why is because of this, of Final Fantasy 15, and how epically this whole DLC nonsense, this whole Square Enix coming out saying, we want to move away from the model we've been using for game distribution, and instead we want to go into a distribution model of having games as a service. Like, are you kidding me? Like, really? A JRPG, and you're going to make it a game as a service? A single player JRPG, which is known for its story. Its story is the main thing that these things are known for. And you want to turn that into a game for a service model? Are you serious? Like, no. So no, I don't think Nomura is going to do that ever. I don't think he's ever going to do that, because Nomura came out not too long ago, a few months ago, and criticized Final Fantasy 15. Well, he didn't outright criticize, but he made subtle hints of criticization towards how Final Fantasy 15 was being handled, towards how the story of Final Fantasy 15 was being handled. And also, he was really insulted that they relegated the Insomnia, the invasion of Insomnia, to a movie, to Kingsglaive, because he believed that Noctis should have been there during the invasion of Insomnia. That should have been a part of the game. And Nomura has been very critical of Final Fantasy 15. He's been subtle about it, but he's definitely been critical about it. It's subtle criticism. So because of that, no, I don't think Nomura is going to do anything like that. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 seems like it's pretty much, Kingdom Hearts 3 is pretty much done. Kingdom Hearts 3 is pretty much done at this point. They're just, you know, putting on the finishing touches pretty much when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3. So continuing on from what I was saying, when it comes to this whole games as a service model, which is what they were trying to do with Final Fantasy 15, what happens to that now, Square? Are you finally done with the bull crap? Are you finally done with the bull crap? Are we done with this stupidity that you've been going on with since Final Fantasy 15 about games as a service? Like, no, we're not doing that. This should be done. This whole chaotic mess with Final Fantasy 15 should be enough evidence for you, Square Enix. Should be enough evidence to show you, to tell you that it's not going to work. Don't try it. Drop it. Cut it. Cut the plans. Cut it. We're done. Games as a service, when it comes to JRPGs, no. Enough of it, Square. Don't go down that road. Sora Simple and Clean says, do you have a bit of fear about how the open worlds of Kingdom Hearts 3 will feel lifeless, just like the open world of Final Fantasy 15? That has been on my mind since I've seen the Toy Story world. It's big, just like the Final Fantasy 15 world. No, not really. And that's because when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, it's not really an open world game. It's just more like open world levels. And that's really difficult to describe, because we haven't really seen a game like that, but it's just kind of like each world is kind of, you know, its own, it has an, okay, it's not an open world. Like, each world in Kingdom Hearts 3 is not an open world. It just feels like an open world. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's emulating an open world, trying to get the same feeling as an open world without really being an open world. It's hard to describe, but it's kind of like a hybrid. It's kind of like what they're doing with Kingdom Hearts 3. Because we're still going to have the gummy ship and the world map and everything. So it's still going to be levels. You know, each world is still going to be its own level, but it's like each level is going to be an open world. Like a miniature open world. That's a good way to put it. It's like a miniature open world. That's what it is. Each world is like a miniature open world. Do I think the worlds are going to be lifeless? No. No. And we have proof of that. Why? Because look, if you go back to the I'm trying to think when it was. It was a while back. It was a few months ago. It was like earlier this year. I think it may have been at D23. I think it may have been at D23. Some images got leaked of the Tangled world, and it showed the kingdom of Corona, like the actual town, like the actual kingdom, not the world itself, but like the actual town where Rapunzel's father, you know, like where his castle is and everything. But it showed like the city streets and stuff, and it was full of NPCs. It had citizens in it. It was full of NPCs. Now, we can assume based on that the town surrounding the castle in Arendelle, you know, it's going to be full of NPCs. There's probably going to be NPCs in Arendelle. NPCs are probably going to be roaming throughout the city in San Francisco. Twilight Town's going to have more NPCs. You're going to have things like Remy's Restaurant. If Radiant Garden is in the game, you're probably going to have NPCs there. So no, I don't think the worlds are going to be lifeless in Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't. Because I think Nomura is looking at the criticisms of Final Fantasy 15, and I think he's actively working against that in Kingdom Hearts 3. He is actively working against, you know, he's trying not to make the same mistakes, is what I'm trying to say. He's trying not to make the same mistakes with Kingdom Hearts 3 that Tabata made with Final Fantasy 15. So I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not really worried about Kingdom Hearts 3 from that standpoint. I'm not. Rai Sora says, what kind of DLCs do you think Nomura will make? And also, I hate DLC. Well, DLC itself, I don't think is bad, but it can be easily abused. Oh my God, it can be. We have seen it so many times this generation. DLC practices being abused, taking advantage of the consumer, and it's terrible when it happens. And I think Final Fantasy 15 has been one of the worst offenders, because you have major parts of the story, like episode Arden, which we're going to talk about in just a second, that are being relegated to DLC that you have to pay for, when this stuff should have been in the game day one. Arden's your main villain. Arden's backstory, Arden's motivation should have been in the game day one. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't have come out with a DLC episode later on to expand on it, but we should have at the very least understood this man's motivation and got to see some kind of flashback to explain his past. But no, none of that. So now, what kind of DLC do I think is going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3? Hopefully not too much of anything important. I'm kind of hoping what they do for Kingdom Hearts 3 is, if they do DLC, I want them to do one DLC pack. Come out with it like a year later, like January, or, you know, like January through March 2020. Come out with one DLC pack and call it the Final Mix pack, like the Final Mix edition, the Final Mix pack. And it's like it costs like, I don't know, I mean, depending on how much content is inside of it, it could go up to $20, but, you know, it just depends on what kind of content's inside of it, you know. But whatever, how much it costs, whatever. One DLC pack, call it the Final Mix edition, or the Final Mix pack. And when you download it, it transforms your base model of Kingdom Hearts 3 into Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix. That's what I want for DLC in Kingdom Hearts 3. If they're going to do DLC, do that. And when it comes to when it comes to DLC with Kingdom Hearts 3, I don't want it to be stuff that they had ready to go, that they had finished when the game was going to come out, but they just decided to cut it out of the game, the launch version of the game, and relegate it to DLC just to make more money. That is bull crap. That is DLC abuse. If they're going to do DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, let it be stuff that they were working on for the game, but they just couldn't get it finished in time. And so, you know, they're going to release it later on as DLC. That's fine. That's great. Or you know what? If there's something that fans are out there saying, hey, this would be cool, or they should add this, or imagine if they had put this in, Square Enix could look at that and be like, hey, that does sound good. We didn't think about that before when we were developing the game, but that does sound interesting. That could be kind of fun. Let's go and make that and put it in as DLC. You know, stuff like that. Actually expand the game. Expand the game. But don't cut things out and then release it as DLC later. That's bullcrap, okay? Actually put stuff in there that's going to expand the game. The game should feel like it's a complete game at launch. But if you want to release DLC that makes it an even bigger game, do that. But that's not what happened with Final Fantasy 15. With Final Fantasy 15, it felt like there was chunks of the game just straight up missing. The game didn't feel complete at launch. That's what pisses me off. So, as far as DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, I don't know, 100 Acre Woods. I mean, seriously, like, I don't care if 100 Acre Woods is in the game at all. All right. And I don't want 100 Acre Woods taking up a world slot for, another great world, like something new. So if they wanted to wait until after the game comes out and release like the 100 Acre Woods as DLC, I mean, fine, whatever, who cares? It's 100 Acre Woods. I don't mind. They could add in some secret bosses with DLC, stuff like that. And they have already said, I do know that Nomura has already said, when it comes to DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, one of the things that they're planning on doing is releasing, like, it's kind of like a secret ending, but I guess it's going to be playable in some way. Basically like a secret episode. Now, see, that's fine. See, I don't have a problem with something like that being DLC because it's not part of the main game. It's not part of the main game. It's extra. It's a secret episode pretty much. It's kind of like the secret episode in Birth by Sleep. It's not necessary, but it expands the game. It connects to the next game. So I don't have a problem with something like that being DLC. If they want to come out with a secret episode later on for Kingdom Hearts 3, fine, great. Just as long as it doesn't take away from the main game. That's all I care about. In fact, it kind of makes sense when you think about it because, a couple of years down the line, 2020, 2021, whatever, they start, they're already developing Kingdom Hearts 4. They may release a secret episode for Kingdom Hearts 3 as DLC that connects into Kingdom Hearts 4. And it's kind of like, hey guys, we know you loved Kingdom Hearts 3, but we're working hard on Kingdom Hearts 4 now. Here's this secret episode that we're adding to Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's going to tie into Kingdom Hearts 4. Like, something like that would be cool. Yeah, fine. Just as long as it doesn't take away from the main game. Mayer says, depends on who does the DLC. Horizon has an excellent DLC. Witcher 3, Nintendo has been mostly excellent with theirs. Yes, see, Mayer is right. There has been examples of really good DLC. There has been examples of companies who have done DLC the right way and in very cool ways. And yes, I agree with that. So I'm hoping we haven't really seen Nomura deal with DLC at this point. Because this is going to be his first major title that is going to have some kind of DLC. Again, we don't really know what the DLC is going to be, but we do know Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to have some kind of DLC. So we'll see how Nomura handles it. And I personally hope Nomura does a good job with the DLC. Mayer says, may I ask your opinion on the Maxima addition to the world of Final Fantasy? I personally love going back to this game. I have not played the world of Final Fantasy yet. I have not. So I can't really give my opinion on the Maxima addition to the world of Final Fantasy. But I want to play the world of Final Fantasy, but I haven't really gotten around to it yet. So I can't really give a good opinion on the Maxima edition at this point. Sora Simple and Clean says, but can we get Sora as DLC for Smash? I know, right? Right? Sora Simple and Clean and Smash would be awesome. Let's please, Nomura, Nintendo, do it. Come on. Disney, let them do it. All right, so let's talk about Episode Arden, because we are getting Episode Arden. And before we talk about Episode Arden, let's see. Mayer says, I understand. Keep World of Final Fantasy on your radar then. Mayer said, I hated Tama, and for that reason, I won't touch that game again. Okay, don't know what you're talking about, Sora Simple and Clean, but you do that. Rai Sora says, this isn't my best year. Hey, Rai Sora, keep your head up, okay? As long as you're breathing, as long as you're still going, there's always hope. All right. I last year was not a good year for me. This year has been, I mean, with my dad passing away and everything, it's been really rough. It's been really rough. But you have to keep your head up. You have to keep going. There's always hope. And do not underestimate the power of hope, because hope keeps us going when nothing else will. So you got to hold on to hope. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and talk about episode Arden. And before we talk about episode Arden, we do have a trailer for episode Arden. So there is a quick trailer for episode Arden. Hopefully this won't be too loud. Let's go ahead and watch this trailer for episode Arden. I do need to turn off the background music before we do that. Oh no, the background music is already cut off. Dang, okay. So never mind then. Never mind then. I did not realize that. What time is it? Oh yeah, 11:04. Yeah, that background music's been off for a while now. Okay. So anyways, so let's go ahead and watch the episode Arden trailer. And then we'll talk about it. Now, I'm not going to lie. Episode Arden is looking good. It's looking good. So, again, we're not getting episode Luna. We're not getting episode Noctis. We're not getting episode Aranea. None of that's coming. But episode Arden is still coming. Episode Arden has, pretty much wrapped up its development. It is coming in March 2019. Mayer says episode Arden looks good, although looking good is something Final Fantasy 15 is very good at. Being good is another story. That is well said, Mayer. Very well said. Yes, Final Fantasy 15 looks good. It is a really good looking game. It is. Visually, it is stunning. But again, it's not a good game. It looks like a good game, but when you play it, it's not a good game. So let's go ahead and watch this trailer. Need to put my headphones in real quick. So let's go ahead and watch this trailer for episode Arden, and we'll talk about it, and you guys can tell me what you think. All right, so 3, 2, 1, here we go. Best character in the game right here. This is the best character in the game, Arden. I mean, this looks sexy. This really does look good. Yo, Young Regis versus Arden. And here we have Arden's brother, Somnus, the first king of Lucius. Okay, so that looks good. I mean, that looks so good. I hate Final Fantasy 15, and yet that right there got me excited. It did. It looks good. But the problem is that, like Mayer said, looking good and being good is two different things. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Now, that being said, when it comes to the Final Fantasy 15 DLC, the DLC is not bad. I mean, episode Gladio was kind of garbage. It really was. But episode Prompto, episode Ignis were actually pretty darn good. They were. That whole alternate history thing with episode Ignis was good. Again, that stuff I think was good. It's just, it should have been in the game at launch. It should have, I mean, these are your main characters. Arden is your main villain. This type of stuff should have been in the game from day one. Day one. You don't release a game and not have essential story elements that focus on your main characters and your main villain not present in the game. That's crazy. That's crazy. So again, episode Arden looks good, and it's probably going to answer a lot of the questions that we've had surrounding Final Fantasy 15. It's probably going to answer a lot of questions, and that's also good. But these questions should have been answered when the game originally came out. This information should have been in the game at launch. And then if they wanted to come out with episode Arden later to expand on it and make this stuff playable, that would have been fine. But the information should have been in the game at launch. Let's see. My ear says I'm used to that kind of speech in some anime I watch. And Rai Source says, it stinks. Arden, do not like him, but I love the game, playing that game, that DLC. You don't like Arden, Rai Sora? Really? That's kind of shocking. That really is kind of shocking because I love Arden. I really do. I think, honestly, Arden is the best thing about Final Fantasy 15. I mean, this dude is so charismatic. He is so charming in a sadistically twisted, evil way. He is charming. He's entertaining to watch. Like, every time he's on screen, he steals the show. Every time he's on screen, you're just so into this guy because he eats up the scenery. He does. He just steals the show. He is the center of attention in every single scene, every single time that he is on screen. And I love his personality. I think Arden is a really good villain. I do. He's just in such a horrible game. Like, that's the thing. Bro, like, I said it in my Final Fantasy 15 rant, which sadly I cannot find what I did with that rant. And it apparently, it got deleted with the old channel, which is unfortunate. But I said it in my original Final Fantasy 15 rant a long time ago. I said that the four main characters, Noctis, Prompto, Ignis, and Gladio, are good main characters. They are really good main characters, but they're in a terrible game. And I said the same thing about Arden. Arden is a good villain. He's in a terrible game. And it holds those characters back so much. And I said in my original rant, I said, if it was not for those four main characters and how good main characters that they were, if it was not for how good of a villain Arden was, I would have stopped playing Final Fantasy 15. Noctis, Prompto, Ignis, Gladio, and Arden are the only reasons I finished that game. Because I thought they were all good characters, they're just in a bad game. Mayer says, in my opinion, Arden and Caius are wasted in games that do not do them justice. Absolutely, bro, yes. Arden's a good villain. Caius is a good villain. Their games do not do them justice. They do not do them justice. Arden deserves to be in a much better game. And even though I think that Final Fantasy 13-2 and Lightning Returns, I like the original Final Fantasy 13. Let me just go ahead and put that out there. I like the original Final Fantasy 13. I think 13-2 and Lightning Returns were not as good. They probably should have been combined into one game. But one of the best things out of those games, one of the best things out of that trilogy, Caius. Caius is a good villain. Caius Ballad is an excellent villain. Sora Simple Clean says, I'm with Rai. I hated him also. I wanted him to do stuff and be a good bad guy, but he's just there doing nothing, but that's my opinion. Red Bandit says, it's kind of like what Insomniac did with Black Cat and Spider-Man. I mean, I don't think Arden didn't do nothing. I just think Arden was doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Like that, like this is what I'm talking about. This is why I say that Final Fantasy 15, I think, held back Arden as a villain. I think Arden is a good villain, but I think he's held back by the game that he's in because Final Fantasy 15 does not dive into his past, because it didn't go into his motivation, because it didn't go into the mind of Arden. Because of all of that, it holds him back. It holds him back. But I don't think the character himself is the problem. I think it's the game. I think it's the way the story is written. I think, honestly, if you had Arden in a different game with better storytelling, better writing, and to be honest, a better director than Tabata, then, you know, I think that, but you kept his personality and his demeanor and his design and everything else about him the same. I think Arden would have been much better served. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the character. I don't. I think Arden himself is a good character. I just think he's held back because of the story of Final Fantasy 15 and how badly it's been written. Let's see. Sora Simple and Clean says Caius is the reason I bought the Lightning DLC in Final Fantasy 15 or Final Fantasy 13 too. Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah. Caius Ballad is the only reason I bought DLC for 13 too. And to be honest with you, Arden is the only reason that I'm going to buy this DLC. So yes, there's some news. ZJ Gamer, the guy who has become infamous, or at least was infamous on his old channel for hating Final Fantasy 15, will be purchasing the Arden DLC. Because I enjoy Arden enough as a villain and as a character that I am willing to pay money for this DLC just because I like Arden that much. I love Arden. I love this dude. And I haven't, listen, I didn't buy the Ignis DLC. I didn't buy the Prompto DLC. I didn't buy the Gladio DLC or the multiplayer. I didn't buy any of that crap. But I will buy DLC for Arden because I think Arden is that good of a character, that good of a villain. And he is the most enjoyable part of the entire game. He's the most enjoyable part of the entire story of Final Fantasy 15. Every scene with Arden, I love. Every scene with Arden, I was invested in. Again, Arden is the brightest gem in the pile of bullcrap that is Final Fantasy 15. So, let's watch this trailer one more time. Watch it one more time. Episode Arden is coming out in March 2019. I will be purchasing it because I want some damn answers, man. I want some answers, and I love Arden, all right? And I believe that this DLC episode is going to give us some answers to questions that we've had about the story of Final Fantasy 15 and Arden's own backstory since the game first came out. And these questions, I think, are finally going to be answered. Because of that, I will be buying the DLC episode for Arden. And it's also because I love Arden. All right. If we got an entire DLC episode devoted to Arden, to me, just seeing more of Arden on screen, playing as Arden, this really awesome villain, to me, that is enough to warrant me buying this DLC pack. And it's the only DLC pack I will ever purchase for Final Fantasy 15. So let's go ahead and watch the trailer one more time. Look at how good this man is. I mean, this gameplay does look nice. Whether or not it'll play well, I don't know, but it looks nice. And we also get a young King Regis. So we're going to get more into King Regis's backstory, which I think is also really cool. And look, we have Arden's brother, Somnus, the first Lucian King. So we're going to get to see what happened 2,000 years ago, which is fantastic because that's one of the biggest mysteries is what exactly went down 2,000 years ago in Arden's past. Mayer says, wait, now that I think about it, in Kingsglaive, Regis didn't seem to know Arden, but in this trailer, we see that they fought. That is kind of odd, and you're right. In the Kingsglaive film, Regis didn't seem to know who Arden was. But here we see him in this trailer, and apparently he fought him at some point. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Regis lost his memory somehow. Maybe Regis was just keeping it a secret, keeping quiet about it. He knew what was coming. He knew Arden was the big threat. But for whatever reason, he just decided to keep his mouth shut about it. I don't know. Maybe the Astrals told him, listen, don't talk about this. Keep it on the down low. All right. I don't know. I don't know. We have to wait and find out. Sora Simple Clean says, wait, the Arden DLC is going to cost money? Why not just add it to the Royal Edition pack? Also, the Royal Edition DLC is huge garbage. Yes, Royal Edition DLC is huge garbage. You're absolutely right. As for the Arden DLC costing money, I'm just assuming it's going to cost money. I don't know that for sure, but I just assume that it will cost money. But you're right. They should just add it to the game. They should. It should have been in the game on day one as a cutscene, but oh well. Sora Someone Clean says, plot holes. Yes, well, we'll have to wait and see, all right? I'm not going to judge that. I'm not going to judge the Regis, whether he knows Arden thing. I'm not going to judge that until we actually see the DLC, because there could be an explanation for it, so I'm not going to call it a plot hole yet. Rai Sora says, I think everyone's theory will be in Kingdom Hearts 3, including mine, but I'm keeping that one on the low. Okay, well, alrighty then. Speaking of theories, though, one of my theories got shot down because apparently it has been confirmed that Shibuya and the World Ends With You characters are not going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3. Apparently that's not going to happen. Also, let me put on some more background music. Let me put on Somnus. See how that sounds. Make sure the music's not too loud real quick. My ear says I wanted a Jared DLC. Who the hell is Jared? Seriously, who the hell is Jared? Like, sarcasm. But who's Jared? Like, seriously, like, who is Jared? Like, was he some minor character in the game? Like, I don't remember. I haven't played Final Fantasy 15 in a minute. I really haven't. All right. Stream sounds good. Music sounds good. Not too loud. Okay. So, yeah. As far as like my Shibuya theory, Shibuya and the World Ends With You being in Kingdom Hearts 3 and being a part of the Big Hero 6 world, San Francisco, that's not happening. Theory got shot down. Apparently, they're not going to be in the game, which is kind of surprising because in Dream Drop Distance, Sora seemed to be pretty adamant about visiting Shibuya one day, going to see the World Ends With You characters again. But apparently that's not going to happen in Kingdom Hearts 3. Maybe it'll happen in a side game, or maybe it'll happen in Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't know. But apparently they're not going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3. So that whole theory about Shibuya being a part of San Francisco, and that's how they're going to incorporate the World Ends With You characters, that whole theory that I had has been shot down. So they're not going to be in the game, which is unfortunate because I was hoping that we would see them in the game. I never thought that they were going to have a major role or anything. I didn't think it was going to be, like they were going to play an important part of Kingdom Hearts 3, but I thought they would at least be present in the game. That's not going to be the case. Maybe they'll be in a side game. Maybe they'll be in Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't know. But more importantly, to be honest with you, I'm more concerned about the Final Fantasy characters. I want to go back to Radiant Garden. I want to visit Radiant Garden again. I want Radiant Garden to be playable. And I want us to revisit Leon, Yuffie, Aerith, Cloud. I want to fight Sephiroth again. I'm more concerned about the Final Fantasy characters in Hollow Bastion. That's who I really want to see return in Kingdom Hearts 3. My ear says, I'm a bet that Stella will be in Kingdom Hearts 3. Nomura seems really attached to his Versus ideas and wouldn't let her go to waste. Oh, my ear. Do you know how beautiful that would be? How genius that would be to see Stella in Kingdom Hearts 3. That would be Nomura giving the middle finger to the entire Versus 13 crowd, to the Final Fantasy 15 debacle, I should say. That would be Nomura basically saying, hey, Square, You wouldn't let me finish this game. You wouldn't let me make the game I wanted, tell the story that I wanted to. Well, I'm going to take my character. I'm going to take Stella, and I'm going to put her in Kingdom Hearts 3, and she's going to be a thing in one game or another, and you all can just get over it. So that would be beautiful. That would be such a middle finger from Nomura to all the higher ups at Square Enix that took him off the Versus 13 project. That would be beautiful. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. And given how much of a troll Tetsuya Nomura is, that's not unlikely, to be honest with you. It's really not. But it would be funny. It would be funny, bro, if he did that. Seriously. All right, so what time is it? It is 11:24. All right. So, yeah, that is the Final Fantasy 15 news. Season 2 is canceled, except for episode Arden, and Hajime Tabata is gone. Again, I think Tabata really screwed the pooch when it came to Final Fantasy 15. But at the same time, I hope that Tabata gets everything together, and I hope he does well with his new company. I wish him all the best. I really do. I think he screwed the pooch when it came to 15, but I hope he learns from his mistakes with 15, and I hope his new company that he is starting is successful. Really do. Now, I might as well full screen this so we got something going on screen. Anyways, let's talk about the future. What does this mean for the future going forward? Well, number one, I hope that this whole idea that Square Enix had about having games as a service for the mainline Final Fantasy games, I hope that idea, I hope that mentality is dead. I hope this puts a stop to all of that. I hope that Square Enix realizes after this whole debacle with Final Fantasy 15 that turning the mainline Final Fantasy series into games as a service model is a terrible idea. And I hope this is the end of it. I hope this is the end of it. I hope that Final Fantasy 16 is a traditional, complete story, single player experience. That's what I hope for Final Fantasy 16. Not games as a service, but a traditional, single player, complete story. That's what I hope we get in Final Fantasy 16. Hopefully, the failure with Final Fantasy 15 and the cancellation of Season 2 of the DLC for Final Fantasy 15, hopefully, that is a sign that Square Enix is done with the mentality of games as a service model. I hope. I pray. Now, as far as Final Fantasy 16 itself, hopefully they find someone, because, okay, like here's the thing. They need to find someone to develop Final Fantasy 16 that is competent and is not going to take forever to develop the game and will not put the game through development hell. And I don't know if that's Tetsuya Nomura, because Tetsuya Nomura, I mean, guys, look, as much as I wanted to see Nomura's vision for Final Fantasy Versus 13, Nomura did have that game in development hell for years. So I don't know if Nomura should be developing Final Fantasy 16. Before we say whether or not Nomura should develop Final Fantasy 16, let's see how he does with the Final Fantasy VII Remake first, okay? Let's see how he does with the Final Fantasy VII Remake first. If he does good with that, fine, okay. Let him go ahead and develop other Final Fantasy games. He's proved himself. Awesome. But let's see how he does with Final Fantasy VII Remake first. But as far as Final Fantasy 16 goes and who should develop it, I don't know. I do not know. Because here's the thing. With Hajime Tabata gone, with Sakaguchi gone, there's not really a lot of there's not a lot of directors at Square Enix left. Tetsuya Nomura is the big one, and Nomura can't make every game for the company. He just can't. He cannot. He's one dude. He's one man. There's no way he can develop every single game that Square Enix once developed. That can't happen. That's too much. That's way too much. I forget what his name is, but the guy that developed Final Fantasy, the world of Final Fantasy, a lot of people have recommended him to be the director of the next mainline Final Fantasy game. Again, I've not played World of Final Fantasy. I don't know how good of a game it is. I can't judge it. It may be a fantastic game, and if so, you know, maybe he should develop Final Fantasy 16. But something that we do know for sure, or not for sure, but something that we do know is probably very likely, is that the same team that developed Final Fantasy 15, the people that worked with the Luminous engine, they're probably going to be developing. They potentially, let me word this correctly. They potentially could be developing Final Fantasy 16. Why? Because going back to the GameSpot article once again, let's look it up real quick. It says, let's see, let me find it here. Let me find the part of the article where it talks about. Okay, it says here, the expansion packs of Final Fantasy 15 were being developed by Luminous, the new Square Enix internal studio. However, that team will now focus on making a new AAA game, though it hasn't been announced yet. Okay, so we have the Final Fantasy 7 remake, we have Kingdom Hearts 3, and we know who's developing them, and they have already been announced. So this right here confirms that Square Enix has another AAA game in development, but it hasn't been announced yet. What else could it be but Final Fantasy 16? Seriously, it has to be Final Fantasy 16. And according to this, if it is Final Fantasy 16, that means that the Luminous team is developing Final Fantasy 16. But the question is, who is directing the development of this game? Who is the director of this game? If it is Final Fantasy 16, we don't know. We do not know. But this stems into a whole nother conversation. And I'm not going to get too much into detail with this right now, because I could spend an hour talking about this alone. But as far as like the direction of Square Enix, and as far as like directors at Square Enix, this company needs some new blood. They need to bring in some new people. They really do. Because Nomura cannot develop every game. Tetsuya Nomura cannot develop every game. They have lost Tabata. They lost Sakaguchi. They need to bring in a new director. They need to bring in new blood into this company. There needs to be some new hiring in this company. Because if not, you know, game development's going to become really hard for Square. Because games are becoming even more complex and even more expensive to develop. And as we saw in this article, Square Enix has lost $33 million. If they don't do something to course correct, they're going to lose more money when it comes to future titles, future games. And we all know what the end result of losing, of continuous loss of money over the course of time. The end result of that is bankruptcy and the end of Square Enix. And no one who is a Kingdom Hearts fan or a Final Fantasy fan wants to see that. No one wants to see Square Enix go out of business. So they need some new blood. And I wouldn't be against them bringing in a brand new game director to make Final Fantasy 16. I would not. I would not be against that at all. Let's see. Rai says, I'm sorry, but I agree with Tabata. I'm glad he's starting his own company. He's moving on with his life so he can do stuff. Yeah, I think Tabata screwed the pooch with Final Fantasy 15, but I wish him well with his new company. I hope he is successful. With no engine issues and an actual crew, I think Nomura can be good. So do I. But I do think Nomura needs to be regulated to a certain extent, because Nomura has so many ideas going on in his head, and he tries to fit them all within a single game. He needs to learn to have some self-control over that. Again, he's a very creative dude, but he needs some control over that creativity at the same time. He needs to be regulated. Shameful Sinful says Final Fantasy 16 is going to have a 12 episode. Oh no! Shameful Sinful says Final Fantasy 16 is going to have a 12 episode prequel anime, a manga about a side character's backstory, and a 2-hour movie taking place during the 3-year time skip / skips. Oh no! No! Oh, that would be, oh, that would suck. Oh my God. Don't even joke about stuff like that. Critical Drive 7 says, how about Hiroyuki Ito for Final Fantasy 16? That name sounds familiar. I feel like I should know who that is. Tell me what game Hiroyuki Ito created. But I feel like I should know that name. That name sounds familiar. Mayer says, Yoko Taro shouldn't be on Final Fantasy. His creativity would be wasted if he doesn't have full control of his projects. And yeah, that's the thing. Like the corporate higher-ups at Square Enix, they may really try to control him a bit too much. You might have a point there. Let's see. Sora Simple and Clean says, World of Final Fantasy is okay. The plot is semi-bad and the gameplay is fun for like a few hours. Again, can't judge it. Haven't played it. Let's see. Mayer says, I loved it, but it's not for everyone. It's very cheesy, but in a good way, in my opinion. To me, it kind of seems like it's a nostalgia fest and kind of like a love letter to the series. Which, if that's what it's set out to be, then that's fine. You know, I mean, again, if it's just meant to be like a nostalgia fest and a love letter to the fans and a love letter to the series, if that's all World of Final Fantasy set out to be, that's fine. You know, that's fine. Mayer says, or Sora Simple and Clean says, I love cheesy stuff also, but the game needed to just accept itself as a Final Fantasy anime. We needed panties and lewd stuff. Oh no, not that modern anime bullcrap. No, Sora Simple and Clean, no. There's too much that lewd crap in modern anime that it takes away from the story. No, I don't want that. That is some of like the worst trash when it comes to modern anime. There's a reason why Hayao Miyazaki, the freaking Steven Spielberg of anime, Hayao Miyazaki recently came out and said anime was a mistake. It's because the modern crap that they put in a lot of anime, it's sickening. It really is. From if you're like a true storyteller and you look at some of this crap, it's sickening how the medium of anime has just been saturated with fan service and lewdness, and it takes away so much from the story, and it creates a lot of disrespect surrounding the medium. So no, it didn't. Completely disagree with you on that one, Sora Simple and Clean. Red Bandit says, instead of DLC, we could see an episodic game focusing on the organization members. I mean, if you think about it, Days is basically episode Roxas or Shion, depending on how you look at it. I see what you're saying, but I don't think we need that. Not for a mainline Kingdom Hearts game. No. Now, here's what I think would be interesting. And tell me what you guys think about this. But what if, like, for the next side game, you know, the next spin-off, instead of having it on a handheld, I mean, there's not really handhelds anymore. Like, we have the Nintendo Switch, but that's really a hybrid console. For the next side game in the Kingdom Hearts series, have it on consoles, but have it be episodic. You know, like, kind of like a Telltale's game type of thing, you know, like where, you know, each side game is like, you know, you have like five or seven episodes, and like each episode's like 2 hours long, like something like that. Like, imagine if they did that, like if they did a remake of Kingdom Hearts Chi and Union Cross and all that other stuff, but they did it as like an episodic game instead on a console. That might be better. That I could see that possibly for one of the side games, but for a main game, no, I don't want to see that. Rai says, "Oh my God, this is bad for Square Enix." It is bad for Square Enix, absolutely. Shameful Sin says, "Sorry, I couldn't help it." Don't try and give me a heart attack, bro. Seriously. Critical Drive 7 says Hiroyuki Ito directed Final Fantasy VI. That's right. That's where I remember his name from. I knew it sounded familiar. I was like, who the hell is Hiroyuki Ito? I knew I heard that name before. But yes, Final Fantasy VI. God, yeah, bring him back. Yo, bring him back. Yes, let Hiroyuki Ito do it. Yeah. Final Fantasy VI is great. I love Final Fantasy VI. Great story. Yeah, let Hiroyuki Ito direct Final Fantasy 16. That would be nice. Yeah, why not? Mayer says he was the one who designed the battle system of Final Fantasy Tactics, if I remember correctly, too. I didn't really like Final Fantasy Tactics. I tried playing it, couldn't get into it. Critical Drive 7 says, I would like a 358 over 2 days remake. Yes, please. Can we get it? Yes, I hope so. Again, I showed this on a stream once before, but have you guys seen Everglow's Kingdom Hearts timeline series? That is... basically, Everglow created this Kingdom Hearts timeline series and is currently doing the time period of 358 over 2 days. Let me pause this real quick. And basically what Everglow did, Everglow took Kingdom Hearts 2 and modded it to where it looks like a 358 over 2 days remake. And it looks really cool. Let me show you guys. Shameful Sinful says episode Demix, where we learn about why he's so lazy. I ain't paying for that. I ain't paying for an episode Demix. Hell no. Maybe an episode Psyx or something, but I ain't paying for no episode Demix. You crazy. Let's see here. Everglow. All right, so I want you guys to look at this. Because this would be, I mean, seriously, like, this gives you a vision, an image of what a 358 over 2 days remake would look like. This stuff looks absolutely fantastic. Let me pull up one of these videos. Oh, God, okay. So we got an ad playing. Let's get through this ad real quick. Ooh, hello. Be gone with you. All right. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to Everglow, go subscribe to Everglow. Everglow is making some really cool stuff. And this Kingdom Hearts timeline, I mean, Everglow is on episode 81. 81. And it covers the entire timeline of Kingdom Hearts so far, chronologically from Kingdom Hearts back cover all the way to Kingdom Hearts 3, leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3. And it's a huge project, and just so much effort's gone into this. It's fantastic. But anyways, let me pull up. Okay, so I want you to look at this. So what Everglow does is, Everglow, let me make this full screen. All right, so Everglow has like the original footage from the DS version of 358 over 2 days. And then splices in like this modded version of Kingdom Hearts 2 that's made to look like a remade PS2 version of 358 over 2 days. And it's really cool. So let's check this out. This is really cool. While we're watching this, I'm going to put in my headphones so I can hear it. Look at this. Look at this. Does this not look sexy to you guys? I mean, think about this. This is just a fan-made mod, a really good fan-made mod that a lot of work and effort went into by Everglow. But look at how cool this is. And then imagine what Square Enix, with all of their resources, could do if they made a 358 over 2 days remake. I mean, this is just, I love this. Because people have been talking about a 358 over 2 days remake for a while. But like, this is like what Everglow's done here is like the first true visualization of what that would look like. And it looks pretty awesome. And just imagine what Square Enix could do if they decided to remake 358 over 2 days. So yeah, give some props to Everglow because this, I mean, this is sexy. What Everglow's done here is sexy. I mean, you've got the organization members as party members. The Roxas model looks on point. I mean, you even got like the command menu looks like it's from 358 over 2 days. All right, let's skip this. Oh, of course, another advertisement. Yay. You know what? I don't mind. I don't mind. If it's making Everglow money, that's cool. Everglow deserves all the money that Everglow can get. Because this is some really good content. Yo, did the video just paused? No! Oh no, the ad just froze. Oh no. What are you doing? Okay, there we go. Look, it's even got like the mission complete thing. I mean, come on. Like, Everglow went above and beyond for this whole series, particularly this part of the timeline. Let's see. I think there's some more. Yes, here it is. Like, okay, you know, like the lock, shock, and barrel boss fight from 358 over 2 days? This is that boss fight reimagined through this modded version of Kingdom Hearts 2. So let's check it out. So, okay. Here's Roxas in Halloween Town. About to fight Lock, Shock, and Barrel. And we get to see how it could potentially look in a 358 over 2 days remake. Mayer says, gotta go. See ya. See you later, Mayer. Thanks for showing up. It's been fun. I mean, this is so good. All right, I think that's enough of that. So, what time is it? It is 11:48. Guys, we're going to go for 12 more minutes, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. Because I think I pretty much got all my thoughts out as far as the Final Fantasy 15 news goes. I hope, as sad as it is for people that really wanted the Season 2 DLC, as sad as it is for you people, it is what it is. And hopefully, when it comes to this whole situation, Square Enix takes some lessons out of it. And Square Enix learns that games like single-player JRPG games are not meant to be done through the games as a service model. Hopefully, that whole mentality has now died at Square Enix. I hope and I pray that's the case. Hopefully, this means that Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a much better game because of the failure of Final Fantasy 15. I hope. Hopefully, they get some new blood into the company. They hire some new people, get some new directors. I hope. Because Nomura can't do everything. He can't do everything. And I guess that's my main point. I hope this whole situation turns out to be a learning experience. I hope that Square Enix learns from their mistakes and comes out all the better for it. That's what I hope is the end result of this whole mess. I really do. Because I love Square Enix. I love this company. All right? They make my two favorite video game series, Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. I love this company, and I hope they do well, and I hope they learn from their mistakes. Because ultimately, I want Square Enix to succeed. Rai Soros says, you got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. True. True words of wisdom right there. You got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good, and you got to look for the silver lining. Absolutely. Red Bandit says, speaking of Union Cross, did you hear that it got banned in Belgium? I did. That's crazy. It did. But now that I think about it, I shouldn't have been surprised, and it should have happened sooner because Belgium did pass some laws a while back. I think it was last year that this happened, but they passed some laws that basically banned a lot of the bull crap that was going on with loot boxes and stuff like that in video games. And a lot of it was because of what EA was doing with their games. And I think more countries should pass similar laws, because I think a lot of this stuff going on with the loot boxes and stuff that EA was doing, and again, Union Cross, I think Union Cross is whatever. I don't care about Union Cross. But, I didn't like the idea of paying for all that crap in Union Cross either. Basically, that whole situation when it comes to loot boxes and gaming, I think Belgium did the right thing. I think other countries should adopt that policy. And I think that type of stuff should just cut it out. Video game companies need to cut it out because it's bullcrap. It is. It's awful. It's an awful practice, and they should cut it out. Absolutely. Let's see. Red Bandit says, I also think that if Square wanted a phone game, then they should have just released the original Chain of Memories for iPhone. Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, just put out the original Game Boy Advance version of Chain of Memories and put it on iPhone. Why not? Seriously, that would be a great smartphone game. I went back recently and I replayed the Game Boy Advance version of Chain of Memories, and it still holds up. It's still a really fun game. I enjoy it. So yeah, bring it onto iPhone. Why not? Let's see, what time is it? 11:52. Okay, so guys, let me go ahead and talk about what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Originally, I was not even planning to do a live stream today, but this news came out and I was like, we got to talk about this. Yes, sir, we got to talk about this. People want to know. People want to know, how am I going to rant about Final Fantasy 15 today? So yes, I knew I had to do this live stream. But tomorrow on Twitch, not on YouTube, but on Twitch, we are going to be starting or restarting the road to Kingdom Hearts 3. It is happening tomorrow on Twitch. It is going to start at either 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. Probably more likely we're going to start at 10:30 a.m. And that's going to be Eastern time. 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, most likely. I will be putting up a video 15 minutes before we start the stream on Twitch. I'll be putting up a video on YouTube announcing the live stream 15 minutes before we start on Twitch. So everybody will be made aware before we get started. But we are going to be restarting the road to Kingdom Hearts 3 tomorrow. We're going to be starting, of course, with Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix. We're probably going to be getting through, I hope that tomorrow we can get through the tutorial, Destiny Islands, and Traverse Town tomorrow. Hopefully we can get through all that tomorrow on stream. And of course, after the stream is over, I will be editing the live stream and I will be uploading a video of the live stream here on YouTube later on, probably sometime next week. Probably next Friday. I'll start putting that stuff on YouTube. But this is going to be the road to Kingdom Hearts 3. We're going to try and get through most of the Kingdom Hearts games, and excluding 358 over 2 days and Recoded. But all the other games are going to be trying to get through, and of course Union Cross, because screw Union Cross. Screw smartphone games, whatever. Most of the Kingdom Hearts games, we're going to be getting through them before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out in January. And then, of course, in January, we're going to be playing Kingdom Hearts 3. We're going to be playing the Japanese version first, and then later we'll be switching over to the English version. We'll be doing that as well. But road to Kingdom Hearts 3. It all begins tomorrow. I'm going to say most likely 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. The link to my Twitch channel should be in the description box of this live stream. Go ahead and follow me on Twitch if you haven't already. Also follow me on Twitter. Usually if there's some kind of update I need to make, some kind of news that comes out, the first place I'm going to post about it is going to be on Twitter because it's really simple. So if you guys want to keep up to date on everything, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch, and tomorrow on Twitch, again, most likely 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we are going to be restarting the road to Kingdom Hearts 3 with Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. So that being said, I will see you guys on Twitch tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Finally, we're going to get this project really going this time and get it done before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out in January. Let's see. Raisaurus says, I'm beginning my own road to Kingdom Hearts 3 as well. Okay, well, good. I will definitely check that out. If you do the road to Kingdom Hearts 3 as well, I'll be checking it out. Let me know when you get started, Raisaurus, and I will definitely be checking that out. But tomorrow, we're going to be starting the road to Kingdom Hearts 3 on my Twitch channel. Cannot wait to get this project really going. It's been a lot of delays and a long time coming, but we finally are going to get this project started. But yeah, that's going to be tomorrow on Twitch, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So I will see you guys on Twitch tomorrow. That being said, guys, I think that's going to wrap up this stream. I think we are good to go. Lots of Final Fantasy 15 news that came out today. Some of it bad, some of it you have to look at the silver lining, and hopefully Square Enix is going to learn from their mistakes with Final Fantasy 15, and Final Fantasy 16 will be all the better for it. But that being said, guys, we're going to wrap up this stream. Thank you guys for showing up. It's been fun. It's been real. I will see you tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch for the road to Kingdom Hearts 3. Until then, this has been ZJ. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe, follow me on social media, click that bell for notifications, and this is ZJ signing off.